Good evening, and welcome to the Command & Conquer News Network, CnCNN. Tonight's top story: war continues across the globe as the forces of Nod have taken much of Asia while the GDI continues to hold North America. There is, however, a new player on the field as the Forgotten and the Scrin have teamed up to cut large swaths across Africa. We seem to be getting some breaking news. Fighting has broken out in Uruguay, a country in this general region. We're reporters here at CnCNN, not geographers. It would appear as though the forces have chosen their commanders at random, and so joining us on the battlefield we will welcome Duck Hunter from the forces of Nod, Panzer from the forces of the GDI, and Pothern from the Weed Lords, should they remember to wake up in time for battle. We will be going live with the footage of the conflict at a date and time to be agreed upon. For now, I leave you with the founder of this channel, also me. Thanks, me. So, as the weird news report that came to me in a fever dream said, the fighters for this first ever skirmish live stream thing will be Duck Hunter from Nod, Panzer from GDI, and Pothern, Potirn from the Forgotten. So I will message you all separately, and we can organise dates and times, and I will go over the rules in more details there. But for a general information dump on the rules, we will typically be playing on Kane's Wrath, because the general consensus was that Kane's Wrath was the game that people wanted to play on. It will be 1v1v1. No teaming up against the other person, no making it unfair for another person. These games are meant to be fun. These games are meant to just be a nice way of sharing in some CNC community with a random bit of lore, a random bit of kind of like fighting for map control. It's not meant to be anything super duper serious. So it's let's just try and keep it lighthearted and fun. That being said, if you all want to take it super duper seriously when you're actively fighting, then we can agree on that beforehand. So there are two sort of rule sets I will put forward. The first rule set is that GDI fights as GDI forces, Nod fights as Nod, and the Forgotten would fight as the Scrin, because they're sort of the team up on the server, and that's how that can be reflected in the actual warfare. I do understand that some people who are in GDI are really used to fighting as Nod or as Scrin, and vice versa, because it's a three-way choice. Sure. And so that's where rule set 2 comes in. So rule set 2 would just be everyone gets free reign over who they play as, and I'll put those two rule sets forward before any fight, and we can agree upon a preferred rule set for people, and then I'll explain on the live stream which rule set we're going with. There is in fact a third rule set, and this is for much longer fights. So if people are willing to dedicate a considerable proportion of an evening or a day to one of these live streams, which I know is a big ask, then we can implement the third rule set, which is a best of 3 type rule set. So if you win with a faction that you are not representative of on the server, so if I'm GDI and I'm fighting as Nod and I win that game, I score 1 point. If I win as GDI, I score 2 points. And it is the first person to have 3 points who wins that entire country, or wins the night, or wins the day, or however you want to describe it. So that will be for much longer days, much longer time segments, when people are willing to dedicate a considerable amount of time, because you would end up playing at a bare minimum 2 games, because that would be one or 2 wins where you're playing as your own faction, or 3 wins if you're playing as a different faction. So because you've got to make it up to 3 points, you have to play at least 2 games, typically 3, and that's suggesting that the same person keeps winning. there's no guarantee that the same person would keep winning. So you would end up having 4, 5, 6 different games, and that can be quite time consuming. So we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. The main 2 rule sets for shorter games are everyone plays their own faction with Forgotten and Scrin teaming up to be Scrin, or everyone plays different factions, or free reign choice. So the other sort of minor technical details, no stream sniping, of course. So I will be streaming this either on the server or on Twitch, or I guess on YouTube. This is going to be down to like personal preference and what I can feasibly achieve technologically. I have set up a CnCNN skirmish YouTube just in case we want to host any VODs if people are happy with that. But that's for me. That's my technical stuff to deal with. So we'll be playing on a fresh install of Kane's Wrath on Steam, which I don't think has the mod 1.0.2 patch. I'm not certain though. I will double check. And if people are really anti clean install and have to have the patch, then we can figure that out before the fight starts. Don't worry. Like I said, these games are meant to just be fun, enjoyable, lighthearted. So I don't want to see any bad mouthing unless it's in character. Of course, if you're role playing along, if you're watching the streams, and we'll try and host the stream at a time when most people will be able to play, but this will be or watch, but this will be down to the combatants' time zones. So I can't guarantee that it won't be 2 a.m. in Britain at the time of a stream, or 1 p.m. at the time of a stream in Britain and 2 a.m. elsewhere. I can't guarantee that right now. I'm sorry. But it should be Fridays, Saturdays, a weekend sort of time, at a comfortable time for everyone. So thank you for listening. And congrats, I guess, to Panzer and Pottern and Duck Hunter for being guinea pigs, even though it was literally a spinning wheel that I used to pick who was fighting for who, and a random name generator for which country to use. So yeah, congrats to them, and I really look forward to working with you on setting up these games, and I'll get into some technical details with you all privately. And I hope that everyone else enjoys the stream, comes along and cheers on their faction, comes along and cheers on enemy factions, comes along and just cheers on some good ass CNC tactics. That'd be cool. Yeah, I look forward to running this. This will happen. Sorry, I should probably mention. This will happen likely in the next 2 weeks. That's when the first fight will happen. Obviously, it will be down to Panzer Pottern and Duck Hunter as to when it happens in terms of day and time, but roughly next 2 weeks. So I will see you then with another groundbreaking live report from CnCNN. Thank you very much, and good night.